All right, this is a video for doing a particular kind of figure in Praat. One of the things that we're used to if we use Praat is being able to see a waveform next to a spectrogram, next to a text grid with the annotations really nice and cleanly. So something like this, I hit view and edit, I get this, the waveform is here, spectrogram, and I have annotations. I can click a bit, I see a highlight, right? That's a really handy thing to do when you're doing analysis, and we can think of a lot of ways where something like this view would be really useful to have in a figure that we can put in a document. Now, the Praat view and edit things, there's always a temptation to just take a screenshot, and that is a possibility, but the visual layout of something like this is designed for that interaction. It's got handles that you can click on.
Analysis.
Right, things you can click on. It has things packed in a way that you can, you can, you can sort of lean into the screen and see the different details and click on them to get more information. In a figure in a static document, often we want a slightly different aesthetic. And now the Praat picture window, that's this window here, is designed for constructing figures and assembling them with a fair amount of flexibility around the aesthetics. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to put this information, the waveform and the spectrogram and the text grid annotations into a figure in a way that can possibly be useful. So the first thing that we need to do is create a spectrogram. We already have the sound. I might have recorded this in Praat. I might have imported it from somewhere. Text grid, of course, you can create and edit in Praat. From the waveform, analyze spectrum. I'm going to make a spectrogram. I can set any of these values however I want. Hit OK. Now I have a spectrogram object. Now in the picture window, I'm going to select the top strip. I'm going to go down 2 units and the full width of 6 units. And I'm going to select the sound itself. I want to draw that. Now this is going to be the waveform. When I hit draw, there's a bunch of defaults. One thing I'm going to change, the only thing I'm going to change, is I'm going to unclick garnish. The garnish in most displays in Praat, when we're drawing or painting things to the picture window, the garnish is putting the axes around in a bunch of numbers. But when you're stacking things next to each other, those can get in each other's way. So we're going to leave that to the very end. We're actually only going to garnish when we put the annotations in. So I've unclicked garnish, I hit OK here, and I have a waveform there. Now below the waveform, I want to put the spectrogram. This border gives me a bunch of white space, so instead of starting at 2, I'm actually going to start at 1.5. I'm going to go down to 4. So technically it's overlapping, but the actual visuals aren't going to overlap much. Grab my spectrogram. I want to draw. This is a paint. Again, I'm going to leave everything the same except turn off garnish there. Hit OK. So now I have the waveform and the spectrogram, same time scale, so they're perfectly lined up. Now I want the text grid, the annotations, to encompass all of those. So I'm going to go down right from the top corner down to full width and down to 5. The spectrogram I went down to 4. Of course, the exact ratios of these you can play with as you like. Select the text grid object, draw that, and this time I'm not going to uncheck garnish, and I hit OK, and now I have a box around the whole thing. I have the time scale depicted with those borders, and I have all my annotations here. And you can see that those boundaries are marked all the way through the waveform and the spectrogram for each of them. And then from there, of course, I can export as an illustration file however I like. Now, like I said, you can move these around and mix and match however you like. Maybe you actually only want the spectrogram or the waveform alongside the text grid, so you can adjust that as you want. Lots of stuff that you can play with, change colors as you go. Maybe you want the text grid annotations to be in green or red or something that stands out against the black. Lots of options. But this is a a basic way of laying it out. It's pretty clean, and the image that you get that you can import into a paper or other document is going to be cleaner than if you had grabbed a screenshot of that view and edit window from Praat, right? So I think this will give you a cleaner figure. Hope that helps. Let me know. That's all for this video.